What's going on, everyone? This is Michael Stewart Isaacs.
And this is Shemekka Ebony.
And this is your next edition of
Sunday Stacks.
Yes, Sunday Stacks. We're back and we are always excited here on the Alive Podcast Network. Always proud to just continue to bring you great creative content that really inspires and sparks new beginnings for you all. So here at Sunday Stacks, we always pride ourselves in figuring out how's it stacking for you, our audience. Each week, we want to make sure things are stacking up in your life. That means all the efforts you're building within your FCC, your family, community, and company are stacking up to be a better opportunity for you and how you continue to move throughout your lifestyle. So we really big on lifestyle here at Sunday Stacks. Myself and Shemekka, my beautiful wife, we always continue to build ours. We bring our family, the Brilliant Bunch, into our experiences, and we continue to grow. And we want to, of course, shout out I Am Brilliant Tour, always going around the country, continue to inspire the world. You know, we're just continuing to just build great opportunities. And of course, the Sunday Stacks platform is produced by I Am Brilliant team, myself and Shemekka. You know, we the producers, really building great content for the masses. So we always start each episode. So I'm going to start it off with saying to you, Shemekka, how's it stacking for you this week?
Oh boy, this is stacking really good. As you all know, we are still in the back to school season. People are getting ready to go and move forward. I had the pleasure and honor of preparing for the arrival of my first grandchild.
Yay!
Yes, we celebrated Nova and her arrival. She'll be here next month. But I dusted off some gifts. I have had a passion and a love for being creative and putting my heart and soul into stuff. And so I created a diaper cake for Nova, and it was so fun. I had not done one in so many years, but it was fun putting it together. Chi and Max were so helpful in contributing to it. You know, it was a labor of love and of prayer and of covering. And then we also did a diaper basket. And with this diaper basket, it's like a love notes for Nova. So in those midnight changes, when the parents may be overwhelmed,
remember those
words of encouragement, things that people will be able to just pour into with laughter, you know, maybe even scripture, but just motivational, inspirational notes and funnies to get these new parents Nova will have this opportunity to grow and expand and have happy parents, even though they're sleepless parents.
Right. You got to help them through this process. That's amazing. That is amazing. It's amazing. Let me tell y'all, just to jump in quickly, this diaper cake that she built was amazing. I didn't even know what a diaper cake was. I thought it was going to be edible. I was like, okay, sound good. I mean, is it chocolate? You know, because it's a diaper cake, you know. I didn't know. Vanilla on the side, chocolate on the inside, you know. That was what I was thinking. But she really did her thing in taking, you know, actual baby diapers and just, you know, crafting them and building it into a full cake shape. She put the little ribbons around it, made it glow, had some glow in the dark stuff. I mean, you just really did your thing on it. So I can't overlook, you know, the importance of that, you know.
Check out the social media video that you'll see pictures of it, I'm sure, because I could not stop snapping photos of it. I was so proud of how it came out, knowing that it's going to be destroyed very quickly for the need to use those diapers. So I captured it and we saved what it looks like before it turns into actual consumption. So it's for consumption. It just wasn't for us to consume. Awesome. Another thing that was really powerful this week in stacking was to do the Community Engagement Academy with Wake County. They just had recent recruits that had graduated to become deputies. They've been sworn in, but we did a session on building trust and resilience with law enforcement officers, especially around community engagement. And it was incredible to hear the stories, share common ground on how we can move forward, strategy and tools to help support them in building relationship with community, and also being able to engage community with activities or gestures to see these men, these 12 men that have made it 6 months from rigorous training and education, have enough energy and passion and desire to be a change in their community, were very attentive and engaging to lift up what they're doing, what their why was. And I'm so glad that I had you in the room, Michael, to lift that up. So I definitely appreciate your partnership
It was
in
amazing.
lifting that.
It was amazing. And I mean, we have a lot of clips and just images of the work that we were able to do with the Wake County Sheriff's Department. And just it's amazing. Check out our Facebook, I Am Brilliant. You can get a lot of these insights. So anything we ever say here on any episode of Sunday Stacks, you can go to our social media to find it, either at Shemekka Ebony. We have I Am Brilliant. You are too. Instagram, Facebook. We're even on some TikTok platform. Shemekka has her TikTok. So there's a lot of places we share a lot of what we do week for week. So definitely check that out, because that was an amazing experience just to work with these, next generation of leaders who have so many varying backgrounds, but they found themselves now in the same place of becoming deputies, sheriffs, and really looking to give them what they need to shift their communities something more positive and create a different type of relationship when it comes to their personal insights with themselves, let alone how they now grow into leadership and react and help to empower community members versus seeing themselves just in an authority position where they, may not have gotten what we offer in training and really could provide them a greater insight on what community goes through day in and day out. So Shemekka, you did a phenomenal job just laying out a lot of these topics. Again, you'll see some content footage coming out shortly. We always try to put things together to really show the work that we're out here doing, but it was amazing. So I thank you for, what you brought me into the room to capture, let alone just what I learned from your insights.
Oh, thank you. So this week, how about you? How's it been stacking for you?
Man, stacking is the real word of the day, because, we really work hard in the space of our FCC model, right? Everything I do is for my family. Ultimately, my community is something that I'm cognitive of. How can I greater serve and give back? And then ultimately, we build companies. We have businesses. Myself and Shemekka, for many years, I've been an entrepreneur for over 26 years, working hard to see, a lot more inclusion in regards to people of color, people that look like me, to really be more active in the business space. And this week, I say all that to say that I was able to go to the great city of Virginia Beach with a phenomenal welcome from a lot of the administration from the Virginia Beach offices. But I went to a supplier diversity event that was held by a major supplier diversity organization that works with a lot of major corporations. And it was a phenomenal experience. I was able to go as a sponsor, a part of the company I'm a part of called Battery Exchange. Battery Exchange does like battery kiosk placements for different events. So they're like portable batteries that people don't have to be tethered to a wall to. So they're able to just kind of download the app and able to find a machine and check out a battery and then stay free to walk around different facilities. So,
shameless plug to event planners.
Well, I'm just, communicating why I was there, as well as what this product that I'm so proud to be a part of does for people in environment. So for this particular conference, we had all the supplier diversity organizations from major corporations. I don't want to drop no names because they're not sponsors yet. But ultimately, we were able to build very strong relationships and really just empower so many opportunities within that particular business venture I have, as well as relationships that will empower other business ventures that I have. So those out there seeking coaching from Mike, shameless plug here, or bringing in a phenomenal speaker, shameless plug again. I definitely am well connected, and I do my work and build up my resume in a way that really is beneficial to the clients and the people that I partner with and help, and the products and services that I represent and I'm a part of. They really are tools for growth. But the experience I had in Virginia Beach, the way the state of Virginia and different officials and everyone just brought their great energy, people from DC, people from as far as Georgia, people from Detroit. I met so many phenomenal people from around the country. but really working on initiatives to help the suppliers, black and brown, individuals, male and females, have the understanding of what it is going to take in terms of the documentation, the rigor, as well as the relationships you have to foster so you can get government contracts, statewide contracts, countywide contracts, as well as how do you do business with major corporations and their protocols and their procedures. So it was a lot that I learned in this event. It's really stacking really well for me and our organization. So I'm grateful. As people know, Sunday Stacks, we build a lot of this independently. So to be able to have great businesses that we can be the sponsors, as well as the producers, as well as everything we need to get our voices out, I feel really happy and glad to live in these spaces that I'm able to walk through. And again, phenomenal week. I look forward to just, again, check out social media. You can see a lot of work there in regards to some of the work we're involved in. So I'll leave it at that. So yes, ma'am. So as we look to transition into our main topic this week, we got a unique, different segment that we're bringing together this week in our main topic. So this is something that I wanted to theorize with you, the audience, because as I'm sitting here talking about these houses stacking for me this week, I'm talking about a lot of something that took 26 years of my life to produce a business, produce myself in spaces of opportunity, as well as being able to look at the legacy I want to leave for my children and for those people out here who are still getting into spaces of business and opportunity for their families and for their communities. I wanted to look at a unique notion that I want to pose to the audience today. And I wanted to ask something where I wanted to correlate these 4 unique words that begin with the letter N, right? And so the way I want to call this segment is, how can naivete, nepotism, narcissism, or nostalgia lead to you to success? And so as I'm opening this up to the audience, I want to share my perspective on these words. So when you look at naivete is a word that comes with the understanding that someone enters into a space not knowing. So with that, sometimes not knowing is the best way of being able to not have the confidence you need to even pursue something that is not normally offered to you as the individual. So naivete serves people to success because naivete, sometimes people don't know better not to even not try something that may be difficult, something that they may not be the one that someone's looking for a certain opportunity. But because they have that naivete and that curiosity or that wantingness to grow, they forge themselves forward in a way that allows for them to break through sometimes because they didn't tell themselves no. When I look at the concept of nepotism, I think about my own personal life, but I think about what I didn't have, right? I had to be a naive person to enter into a lot of the spaces in the markets I am. And now as I've matured in this over the last 26 plus years, my children now have the potential towards nepotism, meaning I have relationships and friendships as well as other family members that we would work with and want to put on that, you create those supporting mechanisms because you have a little bit more experiences and you've gathered a lot more resources. But it sometimes starts with that naive person to walk into that space that eventually you can mature to nepotism because you've built those relationships and it just took time to do that. When I look at the other concept of narcissism, well, sometimes I just think about those people who feel like just based on how they see. I know people want to always look at the words like narcissism in the negative light, right? But ultimately, narcissism for some people serve them because they're a pretty woman or someone who's a bodybuilder or someone who's just tall or, someone who, has a certain high self-esteem. Well, sometimes when it comes to success, they get themselves into those spaces because they don't see it any other way. And so that narcissism serves them to keep them in a space and keep them confident enough where other people look at them as leaders because they don't necessarily ever show that they don't have the answer or don't have a solution. And people always like solution-oriented people, regardless if they maybe come across arrogant or otherwise, but they know exactly what they want to do. So sometimes that narcissism can serve certain individuals in the pursuit of success. Now, again, we've talked about naivete walking in and stumble into success because you don't know better. We talked about nepotism, success that's garnered because of a network of relationships that are built for you based on someone else's efforts. And now we're talking about narcissism, just basically however you come in this world, you just kind of position yourself because of the self-esteem and the confidence or believing you always have the right answer. Spirit just kind of leads you to success. But the final point I want to bring up is nostalgia. And I know this is a unique one. How does nostalgia lead you to success? Well, I realize that sometimes when we do things at a certain point in our lives, whether it be our youth, when we're young kids, or particular teenagers, whether it be a favorite song that was popular when we were young and, you and your girlfriends, you or your guy friends used to sing it all the time. Well, you come and fast forward to when those teenagers become 30-something-year-olds and those artists and those people that they listen to from that era and that time, they may not be no longer popular with new songs, but sometimes they can later on when those people have gotten to a space of careers and jobs and they can buy concerts, they then want to start going and seeing those artists that they grew up with when they were young later on, but they don't want to hear any new songs from them. They want to hear those nostalgia songs. They want to hear those songs that they can remember from their past that bring a certain familiarity and bring you to a certain place and time and a space, almost like time traveling of sorts. And so, I wanted to just bring that together to just talk to the audience. And I want to pose this to y'all. If y'all want to kick back at me, throw another N word that leads to success, we want it. But this is just an open dialogue to create something a little bit more intriguing for our audience with Sunday Stacks, because we're thought leaders, and what we do at I Am Brilliant, we're a think tank. So we want you thinking differently so you can open yourself up to new opportunities. So again, with that being said, how can naivete, nepotism, narcissism, or nostalgia lead to your success? Yeah. And Shemekka, I want your take, kind of now that I've given my little explanation, I want to kind of hear your feedback and, maybe what you think the audience might be thinking after hearing that.
Thank you for lifting that up. Very powerful insight and perspective. While you were sharing, it just made me think and reflect on several things. When I think about more recently with the nepotism, they feel like that's happening in the NBA and these stark arguments. I just, it's like a strong sense of hate that comes along with walking out nepotism, because someone is not going to like it. Someone is not going to appreciate it. But if you have worked hard to establish something, if you have worked with those people that you know who also are working hard to establish something, why wouldn't we be the first person that someone would come to for partnership or support or access or relationships? We talk about access, experiences, and better practices. That comes from networking. That comes from being at events and engagements. That means also working hard in your craft and building that, which is no doubt what the son Bronny has done in building his basketball career. But for there to be an issue with nepotism manifesting from theory to practice, in this case, that why wouldn't any parent want that for their child? Why wouldn't any person want that for that to be a friend or a family member, someone that is building legacy or generational wealth? Why wouldn't you want to do it with your friends and family? Well earned. Now, I am a strong advocate. If your family's lazy, do not bring them into your business. Like,
wouldn't be a good
that's
call.
not the nepotism track you want, because that ends with them. Like, really, it ends with them. So we're not saying just giving something to someone that they don't deserve, but I think about this in the lens of, what do you got to say if they do deserve it? And then do we just call it something else? Or do we, we shame and judge and call out families that have done this in their family businesses for years, especially when it comes to white wealth building. But when it comes to us being intentional in doing that, it's just viewed different. So it was interesting to hear what you shared and thinking about it through that lens, when I think about how many varying communities have different perceptions and reflections and thoughts. And naivete, when that was brought up, it made me think about following blind faith and trusting God when you can't trace him, which is literally my life. That's the journey I have. And I think about myself, and I like to use movie connections, right? So when we think about Mr. Bean and how he was always put near dangerous situations that he would always come out of, out of his naivete, right? But I also think about that in a way of covering from the hits. Like, I don't follow protocol when it comes to some environments or siloed spaces that I walk into, not out of naivete, but I play very strongly my new person card for things that I think that aren't right and should be changed. I have an umbrella to come in there and disrupt the kitchen.
That's funny. That's funny. That was beautiful. And I mean, I thank you for your perspective. And I encourage anyone who has any perspective on these concepts to put your thoughts in the chat. If you're checking us out here on YouTube, definitely put some comments, like and subscribe to the channel. We also want you to check it out here on the live podcast network. So engage with us. Let us know your thoughts on these concepts. How can naivete, nepotism, narcissism, or nostalgia lead to success? So as we transition, we have to transition to our popular segment we call The Wiz of the Week. Yes, the Wiz of the Week. Wiz of the Week back again. And this week we'll continue with our main themes when we're talking about naivete, narcissism, nepotism. We have a little bit of it all in our Wiz of the Week, and we'll throw a little nostalgia. As we also want to give a quick shout out to in the Wiz of the Week, we had the Olympics. So many great Olympic athletes. The men's USA basketball team doing their thing. We had, talking about nepotism, we had Michael Jordan's son getting caught up in some questionable things. We had a lot of things going on here, just with the world of entertainment as well as politics. And we always like to kind of let you all know, Wiz of the Week, our goal is not to gossip here. Our goal is to list what you all have been caught up watching. We got Olympians who are running with COVID and trying not to spread. We've had it all this week. So we also have to bring it back to the U.S. Of course, we've got to have our global shout out. But getting back to the U.S., we have VP Kamala Harris choosing her running mate, Mr. Tim Walz, the governor out of Minnesota. This is the governor, you all, who was dealing with the riots when it was happening with the George Floyd. He had to call in the National Guards after 3 days. He was judged for doing it too slow. He was judged for doing it at all. But ultimately, he seems like a down-to-earth, everyday kind of guy, really good with the Midwesterners, farmers. He was a former football coach, which is intriguing to me, someone who's been a football coach and involved in that experience. So I'm curious to see, where he's going to take his messaging. He has a tough opponent in J.D. Vance in regards to just looking forward to potential debates and a lot of things going on. But it seems like a solid pick. I was rooting for our North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, but hopefully, if he's not retiring, he'll want a cabinet seat or something in government. So he's a really good guy. So also to transition with all of these news that Kamala's making, it's causing Trump himself to get in the position where he's getting a little bit nervous about how the polls are starting to look. So a little bit of hint of desperation has been coming through his voice when he's been able to recruit these rallies. So he's been kind of backtracking a lot of the rallies. Kamala went this state, he's going to go right behind her. And he's doing a lot, again, to court a lot of black voters. And he's even gotten so desperate, he's brought out this young lady by the name of Michelle Montgomery, who accuses Kamala Harris of harming the black community. Michaela Montgomery, yes. Michaela Montgomery. Oh, man. She just really has been kind of just one of the people who came into one of the Trump rallies, gave a unique introduction of who she is. So, she might say her name right. But most definitely, someone who is looking to what we would define clout chase. But I can't be mad at nobody in 2024. Do what you got to do, boo.
She read it. She read her script.
And she read her script. She went up there to introduce her platform, plugged her podcast, which, if you're going to have me somewhere, Sunday Stats going to be talked about. So I can't be mad at her. If
I got to stand up here and say this stuff.
But Trump is trying to find as many black people who are willing to talk about how they support him. I can't tell they support him or they just want to easy way to get seen and recognized. It's really interesting. But again, I'm non-affiliate. We at Sunday Stacks, we are not choosing any political side. We want this country of the United States to continue to thrive and grow, and we want us to be great international citizens, global citizens, contributing and really bringing diasporas together and respecting one another culturally. So let's be clear on that.
Did Meg Thee Stallion give a speech?
Meg Thee Stallion didn't quite give a speech unless you consider her booty claps, verbal language going across. But that's a whole nother story, y'all. You know, these rallies have really been very interesting in regards to all the different, all the different ways that, our political leaders are choosing to want to reach out and connect, particularly with the black voter. And I get it, as we talk about all these different N words we were talking about earlier. I guess we popular out here, but I'm just joking.
To your point, it just seems like when you think about both parties engaging in community, they feel like it's much cheaper to throw a party than to invest these electoral dollars in programs and systems in these same local communities they want to target, and create it to be more service-based rather than a party to peel back the emotion and then a speech from the elected official. I would encourage that candidates think more wisely and thoughtfully about the communities they want to engage, to do more than just throw them a party and give away some free food.
I love it. I love it. So with that, y'all, we always could talk about so many things during the Wizard of the Week, but we definitely want you all to do your homework. Definitely never get caught up in the headlines. Here at Sunday Stacks, we focus on FCC. That's family, community, and company. So that means you need to first mind your own business and making sure the politics of your own household is in order before we start to worry about these bigger political leaders who are usually someone's unfortunate pawn in a bigger game of capitalism, that you yourself would best be to learn the rules of it so you can position your family, your community, and your company in a way that we don't look for just simple freedom. We look for kingdom. How do we build a kingdom out of our opportunities and really bring resources and, really build infrastructure that our communities desperately need? We can't keep worrying about what someone else is going to do. What are you going to do? And that's where we stand Sunday Stacks to stack up week for week. So
that's mic drop.
What are you
gonna do?
What are you going to do? That's what we say.
Put it in the comments. What you doing?
What are you doing? And as we say here each week, we want you, Shemekka, you want to do some quick housekeeping and let them know how to stay with us?
Yeah, definitely. Look us up. Look at sundaystacks.com. Follow us, like, subscribe on YouTube. But definitely make sure you're downloading the Alive Network podcast app from your app store, and make sure that you are not only listening to past episodes to catch up, but there's so much great content up there. We want to know that you're walking with us. Let us know you're walking with us and take that extra step to subscribe. Proceeds from every subscription come back to Sunday Stacks, and we continue to keep this message going, and we want to meet you where you are. So definitely download the Live Podcast Network app in your app store, and then like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram. Definitely check us out on there too. We'll be dropping episodes and putting a drip on that coming in the near future. So we have so many ways for you to catch up. If this is your first time, welcome to the space, and we're so glad to have you with us.
Yes, so tell a friend to tell a friend. So thank you. As we always say to wrap up each episode, I am brilliant and you are too. Thank you for joining this edition of Sunday Stacks. Check us out on all social media, and we will get back with you next week. Peace.